Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So we were discussing the end result of the people of Shu'aib alayhi salam. Allah Ta'ala says, فَأَخَذَتْهُمُ الرَّجْفَةُ فَأَصْبَحُوا فِي دَارِهِمْ جَاثِمِينَ. Then the earthquake seized them and they became in their homes, right? Fallen, jathimin, fallen on their knees. Then we discussed this year that if you look, you'll find there were two punishments that were mentioned for the people of Shu'aib alayhi salam. One is the earthquake, and one is that they were pelted with belts of fire, like what you saw up in Gaza, obviously more intense. They were pelted with belts of fire, and as a result of that, um, they were destroyed. So does it mean are the riwayas contradictory? No, ulama explain maybe it could happen. It may be first there was an earthquake, then they were rained down with the fire, or maybe different groups retreated to different areas, and the one group was afflicted by the earthquake, and the other group was afflicted by the belts of fire. So remember the Shuaib alayhi salam that called these people several times. And just briefly to recap again, the people of Shuaib alayhi salam, they were guilty of two crimes. One is they did not want to accept the Tawheed. They prevented other people from accepting Tawheed, and they would sit on the roadside and what you say, threaten people not to accept Shuaib alayhi salam. And the other crime they were guilty about was that they would give short measure. Remember this ayat maybe one day if you want to give a bayan and you want to speak about the honesty in trade and all that type of thing, and you're speaking about um, you speak about the importance of giving what you promise your customers, etc. You can use this ayat, and you can also uh, remember the stuff I told you. I've mentioned to you several times already before. As an alim of deen, like you study deen to learn deen, to practice deen, and then to propagate deen. So you, as an alim, you need to draw from the Quran. You need to draw from the hadith, and you need to package it in simple words, and then propagate it to the public, and then you need to propagate it to the public. So same thing here. You need to see how you can give this message, how you can inform the public about this message. So this is a effective, what you call, message in speaking out against, cheating in weight and cheating in measure, etc. So Allah Ta'ala says, فَأَخَذَتْهُمْ رَجْفَةُ فَأَصْبَحُوا فِي دَارِهِمْ جَاثِمِينَ. We discuss it in the next verse. الذين كذبوا شعيبا كأن لم يغنوا فيها الذين كذبوا شعيبا كانوا هم الخاسرين. Those who belied and denied Shu'aib salam as if they would never dwell there. Those who belied Shu'aib salam as and those who belied Shu'aib, they were themselves the losers, right? كانوا الخاسرين. So in verse 92, the fate of the people of Sayyidina Shu'aib has been cited as a lesson, which is a real purpose behind the description of the event. So what we say is all of these incidents, the Quran, where Allah speak about destruction of the previous aqwam, of the previous it is a lesson that for the people. Remember, the Quran is now addressed to the Quraysh, to the Arabs, and to the Ummah ijabat of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That if you people do not take this message to heart, if you don't accept the Prophet, then like how the previous were destroyed, you will also be destroyed, right? So in verse 92, the fate of the people of Sayyidina Shu'aib has been cited as a lesson, which is the real purpose behind the description of this event. It was said, الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا شُعَيْبًا كَأَن لَّمْ يَغْنَوْا فِيهَا. Those who belied Shu'aib as if they never dwelled there. One of the meanings of the word ghina is to live or at some place in peace or comfort. So كَأَن لَّمْ يَغْنَوْا, as though they never lived there, because they were totally uprooted. They were totally destroyed. As that space is a meaning intended. The sense of the sentence is that the homes where they lived in peace and comfort turned so deserted after this punishment as if peace and comfort never ever existed there, right? Then الذين كذبوا شيئا كانوا هم الخاسرين. Those who belied Shu'aib were themselves the losers. The hint given is that these were the people threatening to throw Sayyidina Shu'aib and his believing companions out from the city, but in the end the loss hit them. So they were the arrogant ones that were threatening They were the arrogant ones that were threatening Shuaib alayhi salam, but in the end, the threat came back and haunted them. Okay, read the Arabic, inshallah. وَأُتُوِّهِمْ. Right. So Bismillah يخبر تعالى, Allah Ta'ala is informing عن شدة the stubbornness وَأُتُوِّهِمْ and their foolishness وَمَا هُمْ فِيهِ مِنَ الضَّلَالِ and what they were in from the misguidance. Allah has mentioned all of the carry on. Yeah. وَمَا جُبِلَتْ عَلَى الْقُلُوبِ and that which their hearts were jubilant means like they were nurtured from من المخالفة, like for opposing the haq. So from the very beginning, their nature was of stubbornness. Their nature was to oppose the haq, right? Yeah. So this shows you وَلِهَذَا أَقْسَمُوا. They took a qasam. So their very nature, has been of stubbornness. That لَإِنِ اتَّبَعْتُمْ شُعَيْبًا إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا لَخَاسِرُونَ. That if you follow Shu'aib alayhi salam, إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا لَخَاسِرُونَ, you'll be from the losers. In other words, they were not even receptive. They don't even want to listen to the truth, right? Right. فلهذا, that is why أقبه بقوله, Allah Ta'ala brought immediately after it فأخذتهم الرجفة فأصبحوا في دارهم جاثمين. That Allah Ta'ala shows it, like they said لئن اتبعتم شعيبا إنكم إذا لخاسرون. That was the stubbornness, and then this was the result. This was the end result of the stubbornness. They were severely punished, right? Right. أخبر تعالى for me أخذتهم الرجفة. We just done this here. Rajifa and Radifa, right? The earthquake struck them. Carry on. Right. وذلك ما أرجفوا شعيب وأصحابه عنهم في سورة يونس. So like how, see, كما أرجفوا, like how they threatened Hazrat Shub alayhi salam, وتوعدهم بالجلاء, and they threatened him and promised him, right, بالجلاء, with expulsion and exile, right? كما أخبرهم في سورة هود, like how Allah Ta'ala informs what the transpired in Surah Hud, ولما جاء أمرنا نجينا شعيبا والذين آمنوا معه برحمة منا. And then when our command came, نجينا شعيبا, we saved Shu'aib, والذين آمنوا معه, and those who believe with him, برحمة منا, because of the mercy from us. وأخذ الذين ظلموا الصيحة, and the ones who oppressed, وأخذت الذين, yeah, الصيحة, the sound, وأخذت الذين, the sound grabbed them, it struck them, فأصبحوا في ديارهم جاثمين, and they became in their houses as though they were non-existent. So see, read the next Ibarat. That's where the punchline is. Yeah, interesting. والمناسبة هناك, the relationship between why a voice struck them, right? See, وأخذ الذين ظلموا الصيحة فأصبحوا في, is that this year أنهم تحكموا في قولهم. They were loud, arrogant in their statement. They should say, "As-salatuka ta'muruka," is your salat commanding this, right? فَجَاءَتِ الصَّيْحَةُ فَأَسْكَتَتْهُم. Because of the boisterousness, the loudnesses, Allah Ta'ala brought a loud sound that came to silence them, right? And Allah Ta'ala also informs about this. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى إِخْبَارًا عَنْهُمْ in Surah Ash-Shu'ara. Allah speaks about the same thing. Yeah. فكذبوه. They denied alayhi salam. فأخذهم عذاب يوم الظلة. Then the punishment of the day of the shade struck them. Right? إنه كان عذاب يوم عظيم. Verily that was the punishment of a severe day. Atau perhatikan sekarang. ما ذاك إلا لأنهم قالوا له في سياق القصة وأثبت علينا كسفا من Yeah. وما ذلك إلا أنهم قالوا له في سياق القصة. And why did Allah Ta'ala do this? Why did Allah Ta'ala mete out this punishment to them? وما ذلك إلا لأنهم because قالوا له, they said to him, يعني the people of Shu'aib, في سياق القصة, right? فأسقط علينا كسفا من السماء. Okay, you saying if we're going to not accept, we're going to be punished, then make drop upon us كسفا من السماء, right? A portion from the sky. Carry on. So Allah Ta'ala is informing that, look, this was their taunt. This was their taunt. فأخبر أنهم أصابهم. So Allah Ta'ala is informing that in response to their taunt, in response to that, أصابهم عذاب يوم الظلة, the azab was severe, they took them, right? وقد اجتمع عليهم ذلك كله. So all of that had afflicted him. Like I told you, one of the intibakis, the earthquake and the fire, the belts of fire that was raining from the sky, right? Huh? The shade, the day Azabu Yawmuzullah, right? Because remember, they all retreated to the right. Carry on. أضلكم في شجرة ولهب Yeah. وَيَا سَحَابَةٌ أَظَلَّتْهُم. It is a cloud that shaded them. فيها. Yeah. And in this was what? Like you say, belts of fire. وَلَهَبٍ. Also flames, right? Right. Right. ثم جاءتهم صيحة من السماء. So a loud screech came from the sky. ورجفة من الأرض شديد من أسفل من, and an earthquake from the bottom. So this is intibak to say that both were affected by the same punishment, right? Right. So then the فزهقت الأرواح. Then the ruhs were left them, right? And the souls flowed out. And the bodies perished. Right, and they became in their homes as though they were right. Yeah, so see what I'm saying. So after they were, Allah Ta'ala's punishment had struck them. Allah Ta'ala's punishment was met up on them. كَأَنَّهُمْ أَصَابَتْهُمُ النِّقْمَةُ. Right, as though the punishment afflicted them. لَمْ يُقِيمُوا بِدِيَارِهِمْ. As though they did not live in the house. There was no trace of them. There was no trace of them. الَّتِي أَرَادُوا. They were intending to remove the Prophet from there. They told Shu'aib, لَنُخْرِجَنَّكَ يَا Shu'aib. We're going to take you out. But Allah Ta'ala reversed the conditions. In fact, they were the ones that were removed. In fact, they were the ones, there was no trace of them after that, right? أرادوا إجلاء الرسول وصحبه منه. Right? إجلاء الرسول وصحبه, and his companions they want to remove, but they are the ones who are, carry on. Then Allah Ta'ala says, مقابلا لي. Right. Allah Ta'ala says, in response to their statement, Allah Ta'ala, this is now saying it. Look, you wanted to remove him, but this will be the end result. Yeah. الذين كذبوا شعيبا كانوا هم الخاسرين. That they were threatening to cast Hazrat Shu'aib alayhi salam into loss. That look here, if you not desist from calling to Tawheed, if you not desist speaking out against our cheating and robbery, you're going to be ejected from here, you're going to be expelled from here, etc., etc. But Allah Ta'ala turned the tables upon them. They are the ones that were expelled, or they were the ones, there was no trace of them. They were ejected from there, and they were removed from there. Okay, let's look at the next verse, translate the next verse. Risalati Rabbi. Yeah. So Hazrat Shuaib fatawalla, turned away from and said, "Oh my people, I surely delivered to you the message of my Lord, and wish you betterment. I've been sent with a message, as is the sunnah to all the prophets. I've conveyed the message to you. I've conveyed the message to you to the best of my ability. I explained you in different ways, but unfortunately, you were not open. You were not receptive to my message. You were not ready to accept my message. So now I done my duty. I won't be disappointed. Like you say, I won't cry over spilled milk. So I told you from this also you learn as an imam, as a community leader, as a parent, as a teacher, do you convey the message to the best of your ability in the most eloquent way, in the most dynamic way. And then after that, if people do not accept, then there's nothing more you can do. So in the 96th verse, was said, "Fatawalla anhum." So he turned away from them. It means was punishment for his people in sight. So he's saying here, just before the punishment came, he said, "Look, I've done my duty now. I've conveyed. Now it is in Allah Ta'ala's hands." Sayyidina Shaykh Salam and his believing companions moved away from there. The majorities of commentators say that these blessed souls left this place for Makkah Mu'azzama, where they stayed till the end. Remember, we told you in the verse of the previous verse, all these prophets that were concentrated in this reason, whenever Allah Ta'ala sent the punishment, they would seek sanctuary and they would retreat to the haram. Because Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَنْ دَخَلَهُ كَانَ آمِنًا. So it was his total disappointment with his people, neck deep in disobedience, like steeped in disobedience and in debauchery, which prompted him to pray that they be chastised. But when the actual punishment came as a result of it, his heart pinched because of his prophetic concern and affection for them. So here it's interesting. That although he was he was frustrated with them and he was disappointed, but when the actual time of the promise, the punishment came, he had a bit of a regret in his heart. That's why I was saying, I done my best. I tried. Like I always say, I tried. So he was gripped a bit with a bit of compassion, and he was gripped with a bit of concern. Hence, you can see he's now justifying his departure from them. Look, I tried my best, but unfortunately, it seems like you people were hell bent. So it was his total disappointment with his people, neck deep in disobedience and debauchery, which prompt him to pray that they be punished. But when the actual punishment came as a result of it, his heart pinched because of his prophetic concern and affection for them. Then it was for the peace of his own heart that he said, addressing his people, "Oh my people, I've done my duty. Sure, I've delivered to you the message of my Lord and wish for your betterment. How then should I grieve? So I shouldn't be, although I feel sad." So he was like basically pacifying himself. He was pacifying, even like Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Hal balagh, Hal balagh. Remember? So that did I fulfill my mandate? Yes, you have fulfilled your mandate. So we stop there. I see Muhammad Nazim is here. We'll continue tomorrow, inshallah. So now it will be Mishkat 2 with Muhammad Nazim. Verse